An hour's flight from Prestwick, the USS George H.W. Bush looms out of the North Atlantic. It's one of the largest aircraft carriers in the world, but hitting its deck at 100 miles an hour can still be a hair-raising experience.
The ship is returning from Operation Inherent Resolve, the global fight against ISIS. Down here is a giant skills swap as UK personnel learn these complex manoeuvres.
The ISIS militants are just over the horizon. The man shooting the video says this village in northern Syria has been retaken by Kurdish forces. The clip is tough to verify, but on it there's the sound of a Scottish accent.
ISIS come in, clear out people.
The voice belongs to Alan Duncan, a former soldier who's joined what he describes as a fight against evil. Now back home in the north of Scotland, he insists he's doing the right thing. With around 240,000 crimes committed in Scotland each year, plenty of people get locked up. From today, the process they go through changes, and it's not been an easy transition. Crisis, meltdown, are they too strong words?
I don't think they are. I think we are at a crisis point. Whether the system can cope with this remains to be seen.
Well, all this week we'll present a series of special reports from across the care sector in Scotland. You spend time with people at the end of their lives. What are their biggest regrets?
That they wish they had made the most of each day.
The second person we saw in the report there, Michael Shawn, said to me, he said, "I'm fit, I'm healthy and I'm undetectable." And what that means is that the modern drugs that are used to treat the virus can suppress it to such an extent that it's barely visible in the bloodstream, but also that it can't be passed on to other people. He says that when he tells people that, their attitude changes immediately.
Well, James Cheyne is at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Glasgow. James, what's the latest advice?
Well, the key advice from the people we spoke to is to only come to A&E if it's really necessary at the moment, to consider the other options first, the doctor's surgery, the pharmacist, or calling NHS 24. And if you do have flu-like symptoms, not to visit people in hospital either.
Well, let's check in on the situation with James Cheyne, who's on the M74 at Abingdon this evening. James, severe disruption there last night. How are things looking at the moment?
Things are looking okay at the moment. The traffic is still moving along here, and that's down to two things, it seems: grit and determination. The determination of the workers and the grit that's coming from a small army of gritters and snowplows that have been working their way up and down this bit of motorway.
Now, we are fatter than we think, but not as depressed. That's the result of a new survey that highlights the gap between people's perceptions.
Living in an era full of buzzwords like fake news, you might pride yourself on being able to tell what's real and what's not. But the public got tripped up and fell wide of the mark on almost every subject. It might leave you asking, did we get anything right?
Scotland is due to lose 6 MPs if plans to alter the boundaries of political constituencies go ahead.
This is all about making seats a different size. The number of voters in many of them is likely to grow, the geographical boundaries will increase. Many will get bigger. Now, if you happen to be a big fan of the film trilogy, you'll know it doesn't come much better than driving a DeLorean, but its own hoverboard no less. When Doc and Marty took this car back to the future, they discovered a bunch of trends and new inventions. Some of them have panned out in reality, some of them not so much.